Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, those who are joining us online, welcome to the Bhaktivedanta Manor Gita Nights. Tonight we will be discussing chapter 5, text number 12. So please have your Gita books, or I tried to get the text from the database online, and please join us. We will be starting with the Jai Radha Madhav prayers. Please sing along. Haribol, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Okay, so I got to work on. I was work on a few minutes ago.
Sorry.
Prabhupada ki. Oh, no, you can keep it. Hare Krishna. Come on, I think you need to make this a little bit louder. I can't hear. Come on. Can you hear me? Can you make it a little bit louder? Can't hear me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, Haribol, welcome dear devotees who are joining us online. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being here. We will be reading from chapter 5, text 12. Before we begin, I would like to request all the Vaishnavas, all the great Thakurs, all the great assembled devotees to please give me your blessings and mercy so that I can do some service with my heart for Srila Prabhupada and say only what Srila Prabhupada wants me to say. I hope that this class is helpful to you and touches your heart because these words are not mine, they are Srila Prabhupada's. So any ability in me is Krishna, in us is Krishna. So please give me your blessings, please. Thank you for joining. Let's now start with the invocation prayers. If you could fold your arms and close your eyes and say it from your heart. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilita Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashitade Saktarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So if you have your text ready, yeah, 5:12. You can hear me, right? Okay. Because my godfather is listening. You can? Okay, good. Thank you. Do you want to recite? Okay. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim ayukta kama karena phalasakto nibhadyate. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva Shantim apnoti neshtikim ayukta kamakarena phalasakto nibhadyate. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva santim apnoti neshtikim ayukta kamakarena Phale sakto nibhadyate. Thank you. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me, whereas a person who is not in union with the Divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor becomes entangled. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. So, let us begin. Hare Krishna. As I was reading this text, only one thought came to my mind, and that was, as it says here, the steadily devoted soul. What does it mean to be a devoted soul? What do we understand when we hear the word a devoted soul? And what qualities make us see a devoted soul? Any thoughts?
So, to me, devoted means like very loving.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Are you sure it's working?
Hare Krishna. It was on.
Okay.
To me, devoted means being like loyal and very loving. To like, if you're devoted to a person, then you're like, loving and you do everything for them. That's what devoted means to me.
That's a wonderful example. It's like a woman, when she falls in love with a man, she's so completely devoted to that man, she's willing to do anything and everything to serve him. Very good example, Koma. Asha? Like a wife, yeah. Or like a mother. A mother is devoted to a child. Exactly, that's a beautiful point, how the surrender shows how we've given our everything and anything to that one person and are willing to see them succeed no matter what pain or suffering we go through. Yeah. We don't think about ourselves. Yeah. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Beautiful point. Capturing what both of you have said and, going through the past few days, we got a perfect reminder of what a steadily devoted soul is. I mean, with the passing of His Grace Jankinath Prabhuji, a person who was in Krishna consciousness and who lived a life remaining attached to Krishna, was a perfect example to us and a reminder of what it means to be a devoted soul. I remember on Sunday how we all went to see him in the annex, and somehow, somewhere in my heart, I had a fear, a reservation, apprehension, because for me it was the first time to see like a dead body. I've never seen someone lie there, dead. The irony is that as soon as we got in there, all my fears, all my nervousness, and all my hesitations seemed to disappear. I don't know if you felt the same way, but he had a smile on his face, and his whole body had a peaceful effulgence. He was like everywhere. He was surrounded by Krishna. Everywhere we could see a photo of a great deity. It was like Vrindavan, it was like Golaka for a moment in our hearts. And I think all of us, all the girls, even Radha Shakti Mataji, we were all happy, And it's so astonishing because when you see that person normally in the mundane world, it's like when you go to funerals, there's a lot of melancholy and it's sad. But when we were there together, we felt like we were witnessing a very extraordinary moment. We were blessed to be there, fortunate to be there and to get the darshan of such a wonderful devotee. As we offered our obeisances and, we left our last bouquet of flowers for him on the photograph of Prabhupada, somewhere deep inside my heart, I got a peculiar sense of like happiness and joy, knowing that we were in the presence of no ordinary soul, but an extraordinary soul a superhuman being, and a pure devotee. Just by being in their presence, all our fears, worries, and struggles in the heart, they fade away. Aren't they just magical creatures, the devoted souls? They die to live, and they live to try to spread the love of God. What is more perfect than that? Is there anything more perfect than that? If not, get the greatest opportunity in the world to die for Krishna. My Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Kadambakanana Swami, said in his voice note, which we all got to hear, that Krishna is very close, and very close for one who silently tolerates pain for Krishna. And that person, that devoted soul, is certainly qualified for liberation. We can learn from this example that, this past few days, we have been very fortunate enough to see what it means to die so gloriously. I mean, even the day of the funeral was a festival, if we can remember. These days of our lives in the service of the devotees, these days are opportunity. This is what maybe it means to be a devoted soul. So let me ask you this question now. What is devotion? Would you like to share your thoughts? Devoted. How about you give me an example from your life? That'd be nice. Let's make it a little bit personal. Like in Bhakti Shastra, we had the personal essay. Let's go deep into this personalism.
I was devoted to Bhakti Shastri course.
Good one. Thank you,
I finished
Sharon.
my essays on time.
And shlokas.
Done.
As everyone would like to know, if you need a perfect Oscar award-winning organizer, here we have Komal with us. I think it'd probably be very good deity worships.
Let's see.
Hopefully get more opportunities. Asha? Come close. Or you go close to her. Service. Exactly. Okay, hurry up because we have a lot to cover, please. Thank you. You're devoted to cooking? Is that what you're saying? Okay, so Asha has, okay. So according to the Global Dictionary, Google, this is the definition of devotion. Love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person or activity. And I remember, Komal, that's what you said in the beginning, loyalty. Now, who can we see all these three qualities in? Who comes in the top of your mind? Come on. Huh? Prabhupada, good job. Asha, same thing? Was something in your mind? Yes, of course, Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So first, love. How do we see love? His life, emotions reveal that he was deeply in love with the Supreme Lord. His entire body, mind, words, actions were dedicated to the service of the Supreme Lord. He saw every living being as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. He liked only to hear and speak about topics relating to Krishna. He did not eat anything which was not offered to God. He did not wish to travel anywhere if it was not for the message of God. The numerous buildings, institutes, farms, schools, temples of ISKCON were established only for the glory of God. Indeed, through his words, thoughts, and deeds, Srila Prabhupada was the embodiment of one deeply in love with the supreme object of love, God, Shri Krishna. Such a devotee could not live for a second without being in touch or serving the Supreme Lord. Number two, loyalty, as Komal mentioned. When we look at Prabhupada's life, we can feel a sense of sincerity, loyalty, and faith. He had towards fulfilling the desires, not his own desires, not the desire, which most of the times when we're doing service, we're like, what do I like to do? You know, I like cooking, so I'm going to cook. I like writing, or I don't like garlands. So,
actually, you know, I want to say something, because when you are, for example, cooking for
Yeah.
Maharaj, for
Yeah.
your guru,
Yeah.
you don't do what you like.
Yeah.
You're asking what he likes
Yeah.
to make him, you know,
yeah,
pleased.
perfect. Yeah.
And this is for me, I think also, a good example to show our devotion, because this is like without any, you know, self-interest there.
Yes.
Because you want to please.
The Guru Maharaj.
So-
Perfect. That's a brilliant point. Thank you for sharing, Asha. I completely agree with you. And that's one way, you know, of understanding something from Prabhupada as well, that he was trying to fulfill the desires of his spiritual master. He took on that journey with 2 heart attacks, traveled, had no money with him, but he was willing to risk every single thing just for his spiritual master. I mean, it is not easy to give your life away, but he did. And he gave his, even though at that age, he had no desire for material profit or for fruitive results. He did not pray to God for some mundane wealth, health, position, or prestige. He was doing it just for his spiritual master, because he had love for him. He had devotion for him. There's this quote from Cicero which says, "Nothing is more noble, nothing is more venerable than loyalty." If you have that one good, loyal friend, it doesn't even matter if you have a million other, you know, Facebook friends or whatnot. It's that one person you can confide with, that one person you can tell your story with, that one person who can stand by you. Stand by me. It's a song. When the night is dark, right? Number 3, enthusiasm. Srila Prabhupada understood the urgency of spreading the message of devotion all over the world. What is it we learnt in Nectar of Devotion? Dhairya, Nishcha, Utsaha, Dhairya, Nishcha, right? The 3 things. Thus, in the later stages of his life, he accepted sannyas and renounced order, the renounced order. As a sannyasi, he gave up his household life to accept the life of a traveling mendicant, whose affection and compassion now extended to the whole of society. Rather than being limited just to his own immediate family, he circled the globe 12 times, spreading the message of pure devotion everywhere. Despite the challenges of age, health, as well as the difficulties of administrating an international society, he remained steadfast, enthused simply by selfless love to God. At that age, it's difficult to travel somewhere. I remember my grandma, she's like 75, now going to be 76. She doesn't like traveling many places, because at home in Kenya, you know, she's got her servant, she's got her driver, she's got her gardener, she's got her beautician, she got everything. So it's very difficult. I mean, you can be in Krishna conscious your whole life, but you're attached. You're attached to your family, you're attached to your gadgets, you're attached to your comforts. But to, you know, scratch that out completely out of your life and give that up, the wealth, the fortune, the prestige, your family, which we are so tied to, we give that up. It's not easy. And then still remain so enthusiastic. That is difficult, and it's trying, and it's a challenge. But he did it all for his spiritual master, and all for the glory of Krishna. Selfless love to God. As stated in the purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, there are 3 things that we can learn about devoted souls tonight. And the first one is their attachment to Krishna. It says in the purport, the difference between a person in Krishna consciousness and a person in bodily consciousness is that the former is attached to Krishna, whereas the latter is attached to the results of his activities. They are willing to do anything and everything to please Krishna, give their whole life and even accept death just for Krishna. Just as we learnt and we read through the, Prabhupada's life. When you read the Jaladuta prayers, he says to Krishna, just make me dance, dance, dance as you like. That complete surrender, as you mentioned, Asha. That complete loyalty, that complete devotion. Number 2, they're always happy. As stated in the purport, the person who is attached to Krishna and works for him only is certainly to be a liberated person. He has no anxiety over the results of his work, In Krishna consciousness, there is no duality. All that exists is a product of Krishna's energy, and Krishna is all good. They're always smiling, even when death is close by. They embrace the most adverse situation with a smile. They surrender to Krishna during the pain. And when in moments of happiness, they share their positivity, joy, and magic with the devotees through their positive association. A few years back, I lost my really good friend. Her name was, ironically, Janaki. She was very young, 31 years old, beautiful soul. We all used to get excited every Sunday. She would make the Sunday feast at the temple. And even the non-devotees, local Africans would get really excited that she's going to be making Sunday feast. Everyone said Janki's making Sunday feast. They'd be there at the temple. So one day I told Janki, let's go to my grandma. She'll be our angel investor because, my grandma has lots of funds. And I told her, we'll start a restaurant. We'll call it, like Gokul Dham or something, or Govinda's in Kenya. And she's like, yes. She's like, we need a lot of money. I said, don't worry, we'll go to my grandma. And then as soon as we created that plan, we had like a week plan. We're going to have meetings in a week and stuff. And as soon as we were going to meet for our meeting, she comes to me and she's like, Harika, I've just been diagnosed with 4th stage cancer. And her life changed. From that day, her whole life changed. But what I saw when I lost, so it's not easy to see a friend in pain. I remember that day when your grandfather passed away. And it was difficult for me, or any one of us, to see Komo in pain or in that trying situation. We just wanted to, it's difficult, right, to see somebody in pain. But one thing I remember is that's how we are. Devotees are paradukha dukhi. When we see our friends, our sisters, our godbrothers, our godfathers, any human being, even people outside in the mundane world, when you see a homeless person, your automatic instinct is, I want to help them. Can I give them some money? Can I give them some food? What can I do for them, right? And when she was, because cancer is such a horrible, chronic disease, there's a lot of chronic pain. And we used to go to her house every day to sing kirtan for her. And my brother would read the Lilamrita for her. On the last day, which was actually the appearance day of her Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami. And as soon as we entered into her room, we could hear screaming. We could hear her cry. We could hear her screaming because the pain was so intense. And as soon as we got inside the room, all that pain, all those tears, she swallowed them. She swallowed them because she did not want the devotees to see that she was going through that pain. And that's what she said. We were all there with her. We had a cake. We sang kirtan for her. She swallowed all that pain, put a smile on her face, and she told me, Harika, always be happy. A devoted soul, always be happy. Okay, moving on to the third point that we can learn from this text. What are devoted souls? They are eternally peaceful. One is therefore filled with peace in Krishna consciousness, but one who is entangled in profit calculation for sense gratification cannot have the peace. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence besides Krishna is the platform of peace and fearlessness. What do we learn from the smiling monk? He's Grace Jankinath Prabhu. What do the devotees keep saying in their memoirs? He taught us this peace. Even on his deathbed, several devotees recalled in his memories, he was always smiling. And we felt that when we went to see him in the annex. His Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Chandramouli Swami says, he was always so positive and always made others feel so positive. He was always eager to give his love and association to the devotees. He truly understood. Don't we learn from that the secret to Krishna consciousness? Which reflected which reflects in the consciousness of these devoted souls, their own positive consciousness. Janki swallowed her pain so that she could give happiness. It is very difficult when you're going through chronic pain to forget your own, your selfish needs and put the devotees before you. To be positive, to put a smile on your face. And so I was doing some research for breach preaching. And I landed upon this American nun, a Buddhist teacher, and she says in her book, it's called Welcoming the Unwelcome. You know, when you're going through suffering or some difficult situation. Peda Chodron says, the wonderful thing about our spiritual journey is that it helps us become just as we are. The exalted state of enlightenment is fully knowing ourselves and our world just as we are. In other words, the ultimate goal of this path is to be fully human. And the ultimate benefit we can bring to others is to welcome them. Also help them realize their full humanity, just as they are. Krishna consciousness is more than just being Krishna conscious. It is to develop the qualities of good human beings, of these devoted souls, Srila Prabhupada, Janaki's, Grace Janaki Nath Das, of devotees who have given their lives and they worship the temple within their hearts, to worship their qualities. Because as it says in the Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridesha Arjuna Itistati, Krishna is in the heart of every living entity. Before we become superhuman, as we learnt in the classes, Srimad Bhagavatam classes, we have to become human. How we behave with people, our kindness, our generosity, our care. Do we genuinely say Hare Krishna to everybody from our heart? Is it all about just tilak, sari, dhoti, kurta? Or is it about the culture, the values we create? Our ability to touch the hearts of devotees, not for our own selfish need, but to really serve them with love. To serve the temple within every person's heart. That is the goal. That's what we can learn from these devoted souls. It's always to make Krishna happy, not themselves. In Gita 9:11 it says, the Supreme is present in every living entity. Vaishnava acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Vishwanatha Chakravarti, they say that Krishna and his planetary expansion as Paramatma is situated in the moving and non-moving entities as super soul. So any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to Archamurti, the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple, and does not respect other living entities, is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. There are three kinds of devotees of the Lord, and the neophyte is in the lowest stage. The neophyte devotee gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur warns that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should see that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, everybody is embodiment of the temple of Supreme Lord. So as one offers respects to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and everybody in which the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected. The temple in the heart. How do we do that? How do we always make Krishna happy and not ourselves happy first? Because sometimes when you get a service, you're like, I'm not happy. But do we snap out of it immediately and think, no, it's not about me. Hello, it's about Krishna. Not many times until we are forced to be, like Krishna puts you in a surrendered situation, like he gives you some pain or suffering, and then you immediately surrender. If you're very lucky, if Krishna has, sometimes suffering can be a gift, a blessing in a curse, a benediction in a curse. If you want permanent happiness, stop trying to get it for yourself. Simply try to always give happiness to the Lord by your thoughts, words, and deeds, in all times, places, and circumstances. Then you will always be happy. For example, today I had many plans for myself. We have what we call scheduled services. And then you have what you call unscheduled services. Random things that you have to say yes to. I remember that day we were doing the ashram and we were reading through that bond of love. And one Mataji was recalling that whenever she would be asked for a service, she'd be like, yes, Prabhupada, yes, Prabhupada. So that's what I mean, the unscheduled service, where you have to be like, yes, Prabhupada. So today, as I was going to get the Maha, I met a wonderful devotee called, I call him Magic David. And I had to give him a sort of like a tour in the manor. And the funny thing is, every single thing I told him about the manor, he would say, magic, magic, magic. And I would wonder, like, why does he keep saying magic? Apparently it's a British thing, that you're like, it's like saying, great. And I was like, okay, fine, so I'm going to use this situation to remind me how fortunate, because every time I said this is the George Harrison guy, he said magic. And then I said this is the pond, he would say magic. And I'd be like, what is Krishna trying to teach me here? Krishna is trying to teach me how fortunate I am. He literally told me, my God, this is such a beautiful place. It's so peaceful. In the city, there's so much traffic. Oftentimes, we take this place for granted. I'm talking about myself. We don't see the magic in the manor. And he reminded me how lucky I am, how lucky we are to be here in the manor and to live in Vrindavan. This is our little Vrindavan. The other situation was when we were having lunch, I remember Prasadam, and I saw a bee. There was like this bee bag, and it was a wedding going on, and she was sitting there, and there was a bee bag, and she was saying, buzzing bee, buzzing bee, buzzing bee. You always get signs from Krishna. And I went up to that lady and I said, I love this bee bag because it reminds me of, you know, a pastime of Krishna. And she said, really? And I said, can I please take a picture of this bee? She's like, sure, why don't you take a picture of me? I said, yeah, definitely, I'll take a picture of you. And as soon as I took a picture of her, I said, oh my God, you look so amazing. She said, yeah, it's my son's wedding. And I said, what? You have a son? You look so young. How do you have a son? And I said, asked her this question, what is the secret to looking so young? You know what she said? She said, it's having good friends around us. And then she pointed towards her friend. And then I asked her friend, what's the secret to getting a good friend? You know what she said? She said, it's the internal happiness. If you are positive from within, you will attract a great world of friends. And I was like, oh, this is a sign from Krishna. It's like, wow, these unscheduled services. And as soon as that happened, we went and we got her some maha. We gave her some mahaprasadam. I asked her to donate Srimad Bhagavatam. Opportunity in every single circumstance. So these unscheduled services, when we think of I remember that day, Kumo, when we were in the room and I was telling you, we should see everything as service. And how, if we try to, concentrate on that, if everything is service, then everything becomes, every minute, every moment is an adventure, Krishna is like your Harry Potter, And with Krishna by your side, he's always taking you on a magic carpet ride. Right? With your little Aladdin lamp, or genie lamp, sorry, which is your chanting bag. Just by putting Krishna in the center and concentrating on him, everything becomes about Krishna. In Gita 5:20 and 21, it says, a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is bewildered, and who knows the science of God, is already situated in transcendence. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. Like that lady reminded me that the secret to finding a good friend is happiness from within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he is concentrated on the Supreme. Our every endeavor should be concentrated on Krishna, his devoted souls, rather than ourselves. Because of the day I had today, it became the most interesting topic of my life. How this one text, the instruments Krishna placed in my life to remind me of this text in the day, like all these people I met, all the situations I was put in. Shankar San Das Adhikar says that we should have a fully occupied heart. How do we build this? Always make Krishna happy. How do we concentrate on Krishna? And this is the advice he gives. You have to completely fill your heart with spiritual desire in service of the Lord. For example, if the hotel of your heart is fully occupied with hearing, chanting, remembering, and serving the Lord, when materially lusty and greedy desires come looking for a place to stay, they will find there is no room at the inn. They will find instead a big sign that says, no vacancy, and they will have to go somewhere else to find a place to reside. Another wonderful experience that we had yesterday was the bonfire. Everyone was trying to enjoy themselves, but however, that enjoyment would not be complete if it wasn't centered around Krishna, his devotees. Everyone was talking about I remember when we were reading, everyone was talking about liberation and what planet they have to go to and how they'll get the spiritual body, and it became a tense situation. But then, in the Nectar of Devotion, it's clearly stated that a devotee simply wants to serve Krishna. A devotee simply wants to serve Krishna. A devotee simply wants to serve Krishna. He sees everything as service. That's why in the morning when we pray to Tulsi Mara, you say, Seva adhikar diye karo nij dasi. Explain. We have to explain to ourselves how every single thing we do is a service, not for ourselves, but a service to our spiritual master, service to Krishna. And simply by just being ourselves, being girls who wanted to just sit together, release that tension, hear some Krishna katha, eat some Krishna prasadam, eat some Krishna s'mores, try some Krishna, almost burnt potatoes, Krishna tzatziki, and playing games, Krishna games, simply sharing an old folk song over some s'mores. That became our little Krishna pastime. Everything becomes for Krishna. Everything becomes transcendental. Everything love, everything for devoted soul, everything is centered around Krishna. Even relaxation is centered around Krishna. Because he sees Krishna's magic everywhere. We see that even in souls who are going through chronic medical conditions, like my friend Janaki and His Grace, Jankinath Prabhu. Even in suffering, a devotee or a devoted soul welcomes suffering. He remains happy. Why? Because Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is so nice, they do not feel any sufferings. And suffering makes them glorious because they see everything as Krishna's mercy. We witnessed that in the funeral that was held, how glorious one's death can be when it is dedicated to Krishna. So how do we become these devoted souls? How do we develop this good person in us? In WikiHow, I'm going to wrap it up really quickly, says the three things that you could do. Number one, improve yourself. Determine what it means to be a good person. Choose a role model. Stop comparing yourself to others. Pray, meditate, make small changes. To start your mission to become a good person, make and read a list of your ideals every day. If it's Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, your mother, make a list. Number two, having a positive attitude, like Jankinath Prabhu, always the smiling monk, always had a smile on his face, even though he was going through pain. It's not easy. Try to look at the brighter side of things. Do an act of charity for someone. Make a point to make the world a better place every time you leave the place of your dwelling. Slow down, practice forgiveness, be honest. Make these small gestures a daily habit. It could be smiling, it could be opening a door. Be human before being superhuman. And the last one, interacting with devotees. Association with the flower-like heart of the devotees. Accept everyone around you. Be respectful of elderly people. Control your anger. Be a better listener. Be a role model. Sometimes you can learn by teaching. And very important, share. Share your possessions, your positivity, and your happiness. Just like the smiling monk, just like J.D. Prabhu. How he shared his positivity, his happiness, his smiling with the rest of the world. There's this really famous Virginia to Vegas song. It's called A Better Man. How we can all be better men and women. And it says, I'm sick and tired of living my life that way. Maybe I should get to church on Sunday, call my mom, put a smile on her face and tell her one day, I want to be a better me, a better man, a better lover, a better brother, a better friend. Put myself back together again because I still got a couple loose ends. And I got pretty lucky, made a whole bunch of money, but I don't feel any better yet. So I'm trying to do the best I can. My heart is barely what it used to be a better me, a better man. I want to be a better me, a better man, a better lover, a better brother, a better friend. Hare Krishna, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this class and you did try to understand and savor what it means to be a devoted soul, a better me, a better friend, a better brother or sister, and just better, 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 better. Haribol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If you have any questions, we can quickly comments or chastisements, we can quickly do them. But if no, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Haribol. Please forgive me for my mistakes, shortcomings, or nonsense. Thank you. Haribol. All the